Hello, everybody. Yeah, we have quite a crew on the podcast today. We have Tanner back for round 2. I don't know why he'd ever come back here. We have Mark, who's here joining us, who we're super happy to have both of them on, and Matt from Smeedia as well. So we're just gonna
and Dave.
Yeah.
You can't forget Dave.
Yeah.
We have Dave.
Dave's still here.
Dave from Simply Subarus with the rum ham.
Dave's not here.
And
I'm the fly on the wall.
as you guys can tell, we're having quite an unhinged episode so far. So
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Buckle in, everybody.
For anybody
Ultra
listening,
professional.
I'm going to recommend anybody listening to definitely watch the visuals on this one, because the backgrounds behind Mark and Tanner are pretty insane.
We're committed to. We cannot change these. So
Yes,
we're
true.
here.
Guys, I got some interesting topics I want to cover today, and some things that I think would be kind of fun to throw around. And one of the things is actually something that Dave and I kicked around after last episode with you, Tanner. And we were talking
Is it
about
the Olive
how...
Garden thing?
no, but I did love that. So Mark and Matt, we were talking last time about having when the Baja runs through the canola oil, we're gonna have Dave go into Olive Garden and get the olive oil right from the source and fill the Baja in the parking lot, and that's gonna be the next run.
You have to have them deliver it out to the car so they can watch you dump it in the car.
That would be amazing.
That would be good.
What is happening?
It'd be like the cheese grater. They're just like, tell me when to stop, and it's just pouring olive oil into an oil funnel.
Or you order like ShopRite for pickup, and you have the poor guy who brings out the olive oil, dump it in the car.
When you
I'm
drain
a
that,
25-year mechanic.
Really good though.
Yeah, I can ichrometer out fluid capacity.
Ichrometer.
So I can pour it out. Yeah, ichrometer.
I'm using that. I like that. I'm using that.
Yep. I can ichrometer out. Yeah, here we go. Yep. And that's 4.5. Stop.
I want to test this.
Yeah.
Years of experience.
Yeah, I kind of want to...
Actually, we should do that. I do that with bartenders. They test them to pouring a shot. And I should do that and see if I could pour a quart of oil. All right.
I bet you're off by at least a quart.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Hey, if we're gonna make this happen, Mark, you gotta film it too. We gotta get everyone.
Dude, I'll try it, but I am not a mechanic at all.
Blind pour a quart and see how close they get.
Quart?
Yeah, I don't know about that, because like,
can I just start with a quart-size bottle and?
Yeah.
So I mean, the oil guns that are hooked up at like shops.
Yeah.
So I used to be really good at that, where I would know how much time.
Yeah.
So I would like start it, put it in there, walk away, do something, walk back right before it hit 4.5.
There you go.
But
okay. So
as far as visually watching pouring something, I think I'd F that all up.
Or feeling the weight. Like I think maybe we have to have a metric here. If everyone starts with a 5-gallon jug, or a 5-quart jug, and everyone pours it in, and just sees.
I'm gonna feel like Indiana Jones, just like holding the bags.
Yeah, we'll have to test. We'll have to test Mark's ichrometer and CAD and see what tool.
Yeah, dude, I'll pour it on the computer, but don't ask me to do it.
I want to see IRL.
Hey, for anyone who wants to know, shout out again to Mark for prototyping that
I heard you broke his tool.
Dude, oh my god! I feel like we should just go through the comments and read those quick.
Dude,
I had to. I was staring at it. It fit perfectly, by the way. So, hey, not to toot my own horn, my micrometer actually, my Mitutoyo is accurate and gave you the right measurements. I'm proud. But outside of that, yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, why not? Let me just see if it'll turn it. And I guess the only thing to the detriment of what I was trying to do was I did still have all the spark plugs in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you like try to turn a seized engine just to mess with me or something?
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't seized.
oh,
it wasn't
Wait, what-
seized.
Christ.
But I did have
what
spark
tool was
plugs in
this?
there, so it was trying to build compression. It was a crank
socket
turning
for
tool.
a EZ.
You mean a socket?
Yeah. It fit a 1/2 inch perfectly. It fit the
Wait a
easy
minute.
engine because
wait a
we had to
minute.
adjust it.
Wait, let's back up for a minute. A socket. You didn't have you needed Mark to prototype you a
No, it's
socket?
It's a crank socket that goes over the snout of the crank and turns the.
You know, they make a bolt
No,
for
it
that.
just
You put
has-
the
it
you
just
put the
has, like, the
bolt
keyhole.
into the crank and then you just turn it.
That's what we've
Dave's
all
a
done for a long
professional
time.
mechanic, okay?
Am I
Yeah.
missing
You
Wait,
something?
is this just it goes over the keyhole, the keyway?
Yeah, it goes over
Yes.
the keyway.
What
Why
part of it
not-
snapped?
Dude, it
was
was a
3D
shell.
printed.
It was 3D.
Wait, was
printed,
this the
and
one
it
that was
like-
3D printed? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
seeing
broken
this.
like a million
Okay.
pieces. I
Yeah, I don't
never
know
knew
why
how
you even
many
did that.
3D printing experts are in the Subaru mechanics group.
We'll try it.
I just don't understand why not just use the
I even
crank
sent Mark a
bolt.
text message. I said, "Hey, I'm going to try this and just see what happens. You cool with this?" And he's like, "What's the worst
Yeah.
that can happen? It breaks."
I'm just gonna put this up here so we can look at it because I
What are you
know
putting
we're
up
talking
here?
about.
Can we like just
There-
go through the comments and read
there it is.
everyone's full name?
So,
Oh.
hang on.
Picking on 'em?
Can someone explain to me why not just use the crank bolt in a socket?
What if you don't have the crank bolt?
You have the engine. Why would you not have the crank bolt?
You lost it.
I have a better
I think
reason. I have a
sometimes
better
I have
reason.
too many.
Okay,
So-
I want to hear Dave's
so-
reason.
What you have to do when you use the regular crank bolt and you loosely hand tighten it in there and crank the engine over, inevitably you have to get that bolt back out of there. So the quickest, best way out of there usually is use an impact or just quick hand shock it out
Yeah,
of
just
there.
a little.
That
little what?
does a little huh. That could but that could introduce backwards rotation on the crank.
Will you stop it? Even a little bit of backwards rotation ain't gonna kill
That
an
could
engine.
hurt
Jeez.
your hands, and we don't want
And
to hurt
I'm
You might
our-
also
break
the
a
guy
nail.
that made public how to time an FA FB motor with turning the engine backwards. So maybe not the perfect example here, but
Wait, what's
I've
this? What do you
always
turn
really
an
been a
FA
fan of
backward?
having the right tool.
I still think the bolt's
Yeah.
the right tool, but I can see
So
it.
with the F motors, they actually the factory tells you when you to take the timing chains off and put them back on, they actually have you turn the engine over in this really convoluted way.
Yeah.
Again, only telling you to turn the engine clockwise. And it gives you like 12 warnings, all in bold, says, do not, under any circumstance, turn this motor backwards. Well, with all due respect, we've been doing this for a lot longer than some people might have. And we can say that we've learned that there's a certain instance where you can turn that motor backwards. Again, for anyone reference, we made it public in the Subaru mechanics group, but there's a group a post about how to time a F motor, and it pretty much requires turning the engine backwards at one point
Mm.
for a small
Mhm.
rotation. And we're not even talking 180 degrees, but it is weird because it flies very in the face of what the manufacturer says of do not under any circumstance do this, which I think is funny because there's nuance, to anything, and I think it's funny when the manufacturers tell you to disconnect the battery to replace the wiper blades,
Well, you know why? Like, I used to work at OE. There's a reason why I had to do all that. And there's a lawsuit out there. Someone sued something because so they put it in the manual. And then they're like, we told you not to.
Mhm.
Like, someone electrocuted themselves taking a wiper blade off.
There's a
somewhere.
reason why you see a sign with a rule anywhere. It's because somebody did it. A great example of that is I love the signs outside of Las Vegas Bellagio fountains. For anyone who knows all the very famous fountains, it says "Do not swim in the fountains." It's like they have basically water canyons in this fountain for a water show. Why would you think to swim in there? But there's
would.
Alcohol.
always
Yeah.
I would.
Probably would
there's
too.
always somebody.
Yeah, if the signs
and
weren't there,
that's-
dude, I'd already been in.
Well,
Yeah.
I always tell the story that at Six Flags in New Jersey, every year the police department would show up and they'd all jump in the fountain. So they finally put these large metal fences around the fountain so nobody could jump it. And then they all showed up and they climbed the fences and jumped it anyway, and then they couldn't get them out. So
The
it's like-
police?
yeah, man. That tool and that post that you guys made went insane. Like people were freaking out about that. The comments were
How many
hilarious.
comments did it end up at? It was
Yeah.
It was a good. It was a good couple hundred easily because people kept arguing about 3D. And that's the nature of, I feel like nowadays, is you post anything. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always going to be opinions on it. So there were so many people, I feel like, that misinterpreted that it was clearly 3D printed. And I hoped that the picture that I did post was trying to highlight, like, look, you can see the layers. It's like, no, this was, it even said on the, if you zoom it, it says,
yeah.
Yo, Mark.
prototype,
I'll be honest,
proto. It says prototype. It's like it's not a production product.
I was mid texting you when I saw that post. I was like, Dave's unhinged. I was like, he's gone off the rails. Something went wrong. And I went to start messaging you, and then I saw your comment being like, we talked to Dave and let him post this. And I was like, okay. I was like, I was like, are we just putting prototypes out now and breaking them? What's happening?
Dave
here?
was genuinely upset, it sounded like.
It's too bad that like the comment section couldn't like hold it, because dude, it was a shell. Like, it wasn't,
well, dude,
it
and I
probably
guarantee that the
nothing.
people that check that out, you get the like idiots that are like, well, the one that's not a prototype better not be made of plastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of those.
It's like, oh, come on. Yeah.
Obviously doesn't
Obviously
work very well.
not.
Yeah.
They're like, it should be made out of steel.
I was giving you about that the other day, wasn't I, Mark? We were talking about something.
Well,
You give me no.
what I thought was funny was that in the comments, somebody posted that you guys make like the same tool, but for like an FA platform. And it was like
Yeah,
a
we
metal.
VJ and FA.
It was like
Right.
a metal version, and then somebody was like, I guess they're making plastic tools now. And I was like,
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
like, what's happening?
It's easier.
And then a bunch of
okay?
people went into the whole realm down the wormhole of people, well, that wasn't the right 3D print, you should have done it stronger. It's like, no, Mark specifically made this as simple, as cheap, as fast as possible. And I think I said it in the comments to one person. He sent me this inside of a week within me sending him dimensions. I was like, hey, do you think you could adjust this tool and make it a little bit different, longer specifically? Because we figured out the dimensions otherwise were almost identical and to another version. And so we said, wait a minute, if we can just modify this, we can make it another tool for those people that want to have the right tool for the job.
So hear me out. April Fools is coming up. Should we like do a post that's like introducing our new line of like cam gear tools, but they're plastic and they're like this long? Post it in the group, see how many people try.
That would actually be amazing.
That would rage bait everybody.
I could
Yeah.
probably
Sure.
get some yellow filament and 3D print them and have them. Dude, they probably look. I
Yes.
could have put the grips on them and everything.
My gosh, that would be amazing.
Make sure to adjust your 3D printer settings to the
Just-
really worst quality that you can.
Just the fastest,
they-
roughest
Yeah.
print possible.
Infill looks really terrible. The layering looks like sloppy.
Yeah.
And you could just be like, yeah, this is what we're producing. We're really proud of this. You
Dude,
know,
we
you
have
don't
like
say
a
that.
really, we have a really good social media guy now. Like, he's really good at video editing and stuff. We could even like do a video introducing it, try to use it, and have it just like shatter and be like, and they're disposable too. You get a new one every time you need one. They're
That would be
$100.
so funny.
Just
So, Matt, while we have a free second while we're waiting for Tanner, how long have you known Tanner, and how did you guys get hooked up together?
I've known Tanner for 10 or 11 years, I think, maybe longer.
Nice.
I first met him through a friend group. My neighbors, I was like friends with a lot of people in my neighborhood, and he's a little bit younger than me, so he was friends with like my neighbors and everyone. And then we kind of hit it off because we both like modifying cars and just kind of messing with stuff. I mean, it's a pretty long story because we wound up hanging out. I moved into the same apartments he was at, and then he got his house. I got my house. He sold his house and moved into my house when he was first starting YouTube.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's ever mentioned that, but like, dude dove off and sold his house to pursue YouTube and live
Wow.
with me for like 4 years. So that's where a lot of like Tanner's older videos in the 2-car garage is my house.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we've been like best friends for a long time, but then recently, like I was at Subaru for a long time, and then finally I left and had like a 1-year hiatus, and then went back into a different position, and then finally left back in November and joined him full time. So
Nice. You
yeah,
know, it's funny because the video that we recorded with him, those are gonna be coming out next week and the following week, and I spent like 2 weeks just researching from his first video on just like the origin, you know, like where and I was grilling him about all these questions I had about how he started and like, you know, like he just mentioned randomly in like his third episode ever that he was like at the Killer Bee booth at Subi Southwest or whatever and like he's doing all this stuff and I was like, dude, I was like, how did you know people at Killer Bee? Like, how'd you end up there? He's like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. he's he was like, I don't even. He's like, I guess I just knew someone. I don't know. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I saw all the videos of him in that garage and like kind of starting out, and like the production quality seemed pretty good for somebody just starting out. So I felt like he already had, you know, he already had work done to his car too. So I felt like it was pretty like, I don't know, he seemed like he was kind of one of those guys who had been in the community for a while, and then when he started YouTube, he kind of was, like, already going.
yeah,
But,
yeah. Because he had when I first met him and we weren't really friends yet. Um, there was a random meet, and I brought my Outback XT, and then he had at the time like a 2006 STI. Or no, he had I think it was a 2005. He had a blob eye that was um either gray or silver. I can't remember, and it was on RPF ones. And when my computer needed to update,
Jesus.
he's having super technical difficulties. But when I first met him, I wasn't sure how I felt about him because he like rolled up to the meet and was like very like, yeah, look at my car, I'm freaking sweet. And I was like, oh no. And then like, come to find out, he was like friends with all my friends. And then we started talking. And I was like, damn, actually, this guy's hella cool. So
that's so funny.
yeah, no, it's always funny.
You know, it's funny because I've known some people like that. Like, I went to high school with this kid that, you know, we weren't even really driving yet, and, like, his dad bought him, like, a '70s Chevelle, and so he would drive the car did not run, needed everything, and he would drive his truck to school with the car on the trailer just to bring it to school to show people that he had a Chevelle, because nobody believed him because he just always talked about this car in his driveway. So then he spent, like, all of senior year just driving it into school on a trailer every day. It's like
He's
Wait, he
like,
bought
I,
it every
I still
day?
have it. I still
yeah.
have it.
And so, like, you know, we were friends, you know, for a long time, and then, like, as we got older, whatever, and I was out to dinner with my wife one night, and I'm at this place, I pull up, and there's a truck with an old car on the trailer. It was, like, 10 years later, and I see him walking out, I'm like, "No way this kid's still trailering cars."
They just can't figure out how to unhitch it.
Yeah.
Still bummed that you got rid of the SRT4. I was hoping that was gonna be on.
Yeah. I mean that was a tough one. That was I mean, when you have a
What's
project
the
that
story
like
behind that
never
one?
gets done. So my Neon was like the first fast car I ever had. And it was just kind of sentimental. I didn't want to get rid of it ever because I mean, it went through a couple of different builds and then we wound up tearing it down. It was the first engine I'd ever really put together myself. And all that. And I mean, I was younger at the time. I got the car when I was like 19 and then tore it down. It hadn't ran since I was like 22. So after, I mean, 10, 11, 12 years of it sitting in my garage, it was just finally like time to get rid of it. I came to the realization, and the other thing is like, it's really hard when companies start discontinuing parts, especially on a car like Neons are not that rare. But SRTs only made like, I mean, I think throughout the 3 years of production, there was only like 20,000 of them made.
Yeah,
And because of that, and then like everybody, since they were cheap, everyone bought them and crashed them.
and they all
So it
rusted
was like
out too.
every
Yeah,
other day on the Neon groups, you would see another SRT like went off the road,
I
got
know quite a
totaled.
few.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dodge started discontinuing like the stupidest stuff. You didn't have a usable like the accelerator pedal was gone, and then you couldn't get like the shift linkage anymore, and you can get like just the most random little parts.
But they
So
made
that
the Caliber too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Caliber was in there a couple years too.
Yeah, Caliber came
I
after
drove.
the
That was
Neon.
also
Dude,
a niche thing too.
dude, you want to talk
You
about
know,
Mhm.
not
rare?
many
How
people bought
many
those.
how many how many SRT6s are out there? You
There's
know?
an
The
SRT.
the
Yeah, the
Crossfire?
Crossfire. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was SRT6.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Crossfire. That was the
those were
only car I
interesting.
think that ran those.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
the rarity in Subaru terms of the H6. You know, there's so
And
many
let's see.
few people. Shout out to Tanner, you know, who appreciates, you know, the H6, you
Same.
know.
I know, dude. I always feel so bad because like
Ex-
we got a customer, like we get customer emails like every couple months. Like, dude emailed us today, and he's like, "Hey, man, which wrist pin puller can I use for the center cylinder on my EG?" Like, we just chose not to make it because there's like none of them left.
Dude,
yeah.
this is crazy. There was only wow, I didn't even know this. There was only 4,000 SRT6 Crossfires made.
What engine was in it?
And it looks like it says, I don't know if this is real. This is a hand-built 3.2 liter supercharged V6 AMG. Is
Yeah, it
that
was made
right?
by AMG. Yeah.
That's crazy. 330 horsepower V6.
Yeah, it's from the what the SLK32.
Yeah.
I did
Dang.
not know that.
On the Neon topic, so I wound up, and it's still close by. It's local. Um, the car sat there. I did a little things to it like the last couple of years, and then finally came to the realization that I probably was not going to be the person to finish it because the passion wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
I finally like wore out of the phase of like this car's sentimental to like this car does not need to be with me any
Yeah.
longer. And it wound
Yeah.
up actually getting sold. This is the crazy thing is it wound up getting sold to my friend who I met through Neons back 10 years ago, and it got sold to his daughter, which when I
Dang.
first met him, his daughter was like 7 years old. So the fact that my car was down for so long that she wound up buying my car and she's like 18 or 19 now, I was like, damn, I really did not touch that thing for like 12 years.
Dang.
That's crazy. So they
Is
have it
she?
now and they're working to finish it. But they're, I mean, in the same town as me. So
That's pretty. How many
Dude,
cars do you have right now, Matt? You got a bunch of wagons, don't you?
yeah, I have my Legacy GT and the Outback XT.
Mhm.
The Legacy is probably the car I'm most known for, even though it's the
Is that
car I
mittens?
like the least. Yeah. And that car, dude, I wish we wouldn't have built that car the way we did. But when we put that car together, we were testing like green speed stuff and
Mhm.
trying to see how much power we could make on green speed. So everything's still intact. It doesn't have any of the EPA stuff deleted. That's like probably the thing I'm about to change on it if I don't get rid of it, is just swap all that stuff off.
okay.
There you go.
I do want to try to steer into some sort of topic. Something I wanted to talk about real quick is Subaru. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about this patent that I know everybody hates the term of, but I found it really interesting that they're putting out content like this on the new Subaru that they're messing around with. And like actually putting it on the track, you know, like this is the one that they revealed at the Tokyo Auto Salon, and they're actually out there racing it and seeing what it can do.
So what's interesting about
It's a hatch.
it's the
Is
performance
it the
B.
concept B?
No, it's the race car
Performance
one.
B. So what's
Of
really
the
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
What's
Yeah.
really interesting about this car is you can see it's further down the production pipeline. So when
Yeah.
they get to the engine bay, because there's engine bay pics in there from the show a couple months ago, the intercooler was completely machined out of billet aluminum, like obviously one-off prototype, like proof of concept kind of thing. This intercooler in this car has molded end tanks. So previous life, that is the exact development path of a production car, and they're spending money on tooling and they're getting ready, and slowly more production parts make their way to test mules like this. Like right there, you see that intercooler? That's a
Yeah.
production intercooler. Like that's
That's
either a
awesome.
pre-production, like final
Agreed.
prototype. That's close to full production. So they're obviously spending money on this, and it's further down the pipe than it was a couple months ago. So
Didn't we have it?
they-
No, hey, didn't we have a discussion about this? How they could have just 3D printed that?
the intercooler at the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have, but it's the same thing. Like that's
That doesn't mean it's
classic.
necessarily production. If they just wanted a one-off unit, they could have easily just 3D printed it.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like you do the prototypes, you do the small volume stuff, and you slowly make your way to the high volume production stuff. And whether they 3D printed or machined the one at the show, either one could be viable, but now
Can
it's
I
got a
get
black
fenders like that?
molded intake.
Yeah.
Wait, can you describe what they look like to me?
You seriously can't see that? What
I
is going
can't
on?
see it. It's literally just a
It
gray
looks like my
screen.
factory fenders, but wider and not from China.
That does sound
Yo,
nice.
you need that wing though, Matt. That wing looks good too.
Yeah, I do like that.
Can you
Mm.
put
not-
proud of boxer on your front
It's just
bumper?
I'm
Proud-
proud
proud
of
of-
Boxer.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, dude, this like
Do you think that's a horrible translation, or like that's what they meant? They were like, yes,
proud.
of
No,
boxer.
proud of Boxer. Yes.
Proud boxer. Yes.
Yes, they are proud of Boxer.
I just wanted to hear them say proud of boxer.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
This thing is sick. I mean, dude, they're actually like putting out content about it, which I think is cool. Like they're actually amping up for something.
You
and I
know,
think
if you do the Google Translate, he talks about power numbers on that thing too.
really,
It's like
Mm.
350 horsepowers and like 450 Turks. Like it's healthy.
sick, dude. I mean, if this becomes a real thing, I mean, I'm not really a first production model kind of guy, but like I could be. I really could be this time around, maybe.
Here's the part where Tanner starts yelling about the price.
Yeah,
If it doesn't have port
It'll be-
injection, I don't want it.
It'll be 80 grand.
you know, it's
Realistically, it'll probably be 60 to 70.
something interesting that I've heard.
Matt
from
worked
a
at Subaru
couple-
too. I would go off of what he says.
Yeah. A couple local Subaru guys that I know do like their own tuning and stuff, and like they work on these cars a lot. They actually have said like why, if they do make the electric STI and it ends up making 700 horsepower electric, like they're like, why would you not just spend the money to get that? Like, why would you spend
I
all
would.
this
Dude,
money
the
to-
electric concept looks so good. I love that thing.
But
yeah,
I
and-
do.
that's
And,
I
like-
genuinely like it,
No.
Mark.
I don't know.
I
Here's a
think
thought
it's-
for everybody.
I don't know.
Because
Mark's like, we don't make
we've
tools
talked
for
about
that.
it before with the
Yeah.
the BRZ and them never, Subaru never officially turboing a BRZ, from the factory. It's kind of that old classic, Porsche example where you will never have a Boxer be faster than a 911, from the factory. Can you make one? Yes, but it's not what the factory wants to produce.
I think
And I question with the pricing that's happened with cars. Inflation, you call it whatever you want to say, but look at trucks now being $100,000 with Napa grain leather. Tanner said, all of a sudden this thing becomes $60,000, $70,000. Well, maybe there's room for a turbo BRZ in the $35,000, $40,000 range.
I'm with Dave here.
I think the issue with the BRZ thing is it's never been what the BRZ's been about.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
they've always been anti-boost on a BRZ.
Yeah, they
always.
don't-
It's
they-
never been a thing.
They want it naturally aspirated. They want instant.
They do, but look at the community. What does the community do? I'm not going to
that's
say
not-
everybody,
that's
but a
not what
vast
that-
Yeah,
majority
the community,
of them.
they put it, they
Boost
put
them.
it, they put an easy 30 in
Supercharger,
it, right?
Supercharger, 6-cylinder swaps,
Yes.
turbo kits. Everybody,
They want more power.
the vast majority of owners with BRZs and FRSs, they want more power. They do
I agree.
everything to them to get more power out of them.
I think Subaru doesn't
Aftermarket
put a turbo
superchargers
on it.
that throw
because of
emissions
price.
codes annoyingly.
I think Subaru wants the BRZ competitively priced, and that's why they keep it simple.
Is it? What's the price of a brand new BRZ right now?
Dude, it's probably 30 grand,
30,
and it's
30
cheaper than
I thought it was
everything
more than
else.
that.
I'm
No?
looking.
They all went up.
I
They literally
35,
just stopped
40.
selling them.
They're
They all went
probably
up.
in the
Well-
38, 40,000
I was
right
gonna say
now, and that's what I'm
38.
saying. If
38 was
from
the
the
number in my
manufacturer
head.
level, if they throw $5,000 into it and charge 50, but now the new STI is 70, 80. I mean, cars are heading that way. I mean, all of a sudden, the entry level car is now heading to the point of being, $50,000.
And
So Matt, you sold cars, right? Like if you had to put a number on it, percentage wise, how many people bought the thing versus leased the
The BRZ?
No, any like just cars in general, because you guys talk about the BRZ being expensive. Shit, a
It
Forester
is. It
what,
starts at
45?
$37,000 now.
90. I say 90% of
almost
people
40K.
buy the car rather than leasing because it is incentivized to the dealership to sell you the car rather than lease it to you.
True. Because they get finance.
Now, I will
Depending on
say,
the
should you
manufacturer.
buy
If you're
or lease
Nissan-
cars? I can
if
give
you're
you two different
Nissan-
takes. But
So we actually, Dave and I did a whole episode on this that kind of got overlooked a little bit, but it was like the second half of a podcast we did. But, I don't know if you guys remember, but Cadillac had a subscription program called it was,
Yes.
and that was like a huge failure, right? And they said that it was because like Cadillac people like to buy cars. They don't rent, they don't subscribe. They just have the money to buy and they like to own and they don't care for that. And like the price was too high for them anyway to even bother. They're like, why don't we just buy the car? Why are we trying to subscribe to something? And so Dave and I were trying to figure out if Subaru went to a subscription program where you could go into the dealer, swap for any kind of Subaru you want. What would be the benefit of that? What would the price need to be per month for you to be able to do that? Because the thing that dealerships don't let you do, that they make it very difficult to do, is that you come in, right? You pull in a Forester. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna sell you another Forester," right? Or maybe
Mhm.
you're into
Mhm.
something a little bit bigger, maybe an Outback. But you know what you don't get to do is drive all the cars. You know
Well,
what?
they're all the same. What do you mean? They're all the same.
Jesus Christ,
But-
man.
Tell me
they're
they're
not.
they're all the same, just different shapes. Yes, they are. They're all the same, just different shapes.
Tanner's not wrong. All
But-
manufacturers
but-
are heading that direction.
But
You're
Tanner,
not wrong.
Patrick's point,
let's
if
just
you can
say,
get a WRX 1 week and then all of a sudden go, you know what? I'm going camping, like what Patrick was saying. I want to, let me try out an Ascent this weekend. I'm going to go camping with a bunch of friends who are out of town. And now I need that third row. This could be really cool.
well, my point was, like, let's say you're somebody who always buys a base model. I don't need the frills. I don't care about a heated steering wheel. I don't care about the leather seats. I don't care about whatever. And you're like, don't want it. I'm not paying for it. I've never paid for it. But now for, let's say, $900 a month, right? You get a whole month. You get to just swap cars, drive whatever car you want. You get to test them all out, see what you like. Because, like, dude, you're not in the 24-hour test drive. You're not even going to get a feel for what it is driving to work and back every day. So, like, let's just say you're like, screw it. I have the subscription. I'm going to take the highest model Wilderness. I'm going to take it. I've never had anything that high end. I'm going to drive it. You start driving it. You're like, I can't go back. It's like, dude, it's like when you go first class on a plane for the first time, it's like, you're like, holy people fly like this. What am I doing? Why am I in the back of the plane? Why,
Why am
like,
I
what
poor?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
but like that, but like you think about it, dude, if you rented a Subaru Limited, whatever it comes with, all the bells and whistles, and you got to drive that thing for a week, you're telling me at the end of that week you'd want to get back in your base model, and you'd be like, man, my steering wheel's cold.
So that is actually a thing with sales. That's something they teach you too, is when you're working with somebody that doesn't know what they want and they don't have an outline budget, do not show them the highest tiered thing first, because then you may be showing somebody something that's outside of their budget. And then when you're like, well, you can afford the premium, and then they're like, this thing has nothing.
Yeah,
And then they wind up not buying the car.
Good point.
But
yeah. I'll tell
as
you
far
though.
as like something where you could lease everything out, I mean, there are rental programs with Subaru. Like for it's weird though. Like the Solterra has a God, what the hell is it called? It's like the Solterra Drive type drive rental system.
Okay.
Where if you have, and
Oh.
I think it's going to apply to any of their electric cars, but if you have one of Subaru's electric cars, you get like, I think it's like 15 free days where you can go into any Subaru anywhere and give them your Solterra to hold on to and take any of the rental fleet for a drive. And that's an approach that Subaru had made
Hmm.
up where, like, if you're going on a trip or
Interesting.
something, so you don't want to have an electric car if you're going out camping somewhere, you can say, hey, hold on to
Mhm.
my car, I'll take the Ascent because we're
An
going to have
Ascent.
this many people with us. And you can do
Uh-huh.
I think it's just drive rental. So for
Okay.
up to 15 days a year, and
Interesting.
you can do more, you just have to pay for it. It's 15 free days if I remember correctly.
So they're already listening, or they're already playing with this inside of this space, because they understand that, yeah, there's merit to going, maybe I don't need this thing entirely for 100%. Like you said, there's those use cases. Maybe you want something different or need something
Also,
different.
my entire life is a lie. I did not realize that you can actually get a WRX cheaper than a BRZ.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, they lowered the
Well,
price on the WRX too.
Yeah,
I
because now
think.
the
Well, the
BRZ
BRZ TS is like
37.
42 or 43, right? And
You
then
know-
the WRX TS is like 52.
Have you
Well,
guys?
and maybe a
just
little bit that's
entry level
reflection of-
WRX premium is cheaper than a BRZ base.
Well, the
You guys
premium
want-
went down for 2026, right?
Yeah, but the BRZ went
Yeah.
up. The BRZ's 37 and a WRX is 34.
Who's gonna buy?
I
Who's
think a
gonna
little
buy
bit of that's
BRZ for
also them trying to get
37
rid of them.
grand?
You know what's crazy? I looked at the MSRP of a BRZ when they first came out. They were $26,000. They have gone up $11,000 in 10 years for the BRZ.
Good God.
That's just
Crazy.
wild, dude. I got stuck in the
That's
back
a
seat
lot.
of one. +2 is bullshit.
I mean, I wouldn't say never buy one. I would love to build one as like a track car.
You buy one second hand. You don't buy them new.
Yeah, I would buy a
Yes.
first gen that's been beat to shit for like $4 grand.
Yeah, dude, you can buy
Yeah,
first gens
that's
for
what they
like
say.
4 to 5K.
They're so
Uh-huh.
cheap, and they look like so much.
Dude,
fun.
I remember when the second gens came out.
And if the
all the
engine's
dealers
blown,
were like
even
trying to
better,
mark
'cause
them
you
up
don't care.
like hella crazy too. Like I
Mhm,
sold,
mhm.
like I bought my 2022 BRZ, the white one I had, which Mark, I know you don't remember it, but that's okay. And
The turbo one?
no, the white one, the 2022.
Oh, the 2022. Ah, no, I blacked out for that.
I had
yeah.
that second gen and I sold it for the WRX hatch, and dealers were paying significantly above MSRP for those cars.
Was that COVID?
That it was like 2020, like end of 2022, so it was a couple of years after.
Yeah,
COVID.
when like there were no cars. And
Dude,
there
people
no
were
chips
buying
and
these
everything.
first gen, first year BRZs for like 45 to 50K.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It was
You know what's
This is
stupid.
wild.
You know
Right.
what's crazy? Are any of you guys familiar with the ST experience?
No.
So-
ST like Ford.
So when you buy a Ford, if you buy an ST, if you buy a Raptor, if you buy any of their performance line, they
Yeah.
send you, there's 2 locations. They either send you to South Carolina or they send you to California. And you get to go down there. They set you up with a time frame. You get to drive all of their high performance cars. You get to go off road.
Yeah.
You get to hit the track. They have like actual like driving schools down there. They'll let you like race whatever you want.
Sell.
And dude,
That's
you
what
think
they're
about
doing.
it. What's crazy, you look at the pricing, right? Like you look at like Subaru's Wilderness and stuff. A Ford Explorer ST with just a tune makes 550 horsepower.
Yeah, they're dumb, dude.
Like,
Because they got the best engine. They have a 3-liter with the graphite block.
twin turbo.
Yeah, twin turbo. Yeah. It's
They
the
just crank the
2.7
boost up.
fleshed out.
Boom.
And
you
that's
make
brilliant
550.
marketing, though. That's brilliant marketing because now you're basically saying to your more premium level customers, we're willing to not only invest money back in you and ship you, out here, fly you out here, whatever, put you in a modest hotel, and have you demo a bunch of other vehicles that we might upsell you on. I'm sure someone in the accounting department did the math and figured
Sure.
out that it was worth it.
100%.
They basically sold somebody a Raptor and said, you know what? We could sell you something else too.
Well, they probably said too, like how do you create a future generation of a Ford household, right? Like how do you
You kill
how do
off
you-
all the fun
know?
cars.
Dude, like your dad drives a Raptor, your mom drives an Explorer, and guess what? Your first car is going to be a Fiesta ST. But guess what? You still get to do the ST experience because it's still an ST model, You still get to go down to South Carolina and do all the cool shit that your dad told you he got to do when he got his Raptor. And like you're now in that realm of like you're down there with all these other people who just bought a cool
You're
car.
only buying Ford.
And everybody's down there
You're
getting their rocks off, let's go off road. And like it's like you're getting them all together and they're all hyped up because they just bought a car. It's like it's crazy. I think they give you a year to use it.
You're
You have,
selling
like,
an experience. You're not selling a product anymore.
yeah, it's crazy. So I want to pivot real quick. So I'm like, this is like I'm totally off rails. My topic I wanted to get to tonight is that something that I was telling Tanner about is like Subaru doesn't really have competition anymore. Like the Evo is dead, right? What are they competing with? It's not the Supras. Those are on BMW level. They're not competing with the BRZ and the GR86. Like those are in their own realm. They're not even competing with, any of these other companies that made a WRX style car except for Toyota that's making a GR Corolla. But like, really, is that competing with them? Like it's kind of like they're in this weird realm where like competition breeds, people purchasing cars and
Innovation.
like innovation, all that. And you know what we were talking about was like a lot of these companies start to look inward to their own, like competing with themselves. You know, you look at Ford, they have Shelby, they have Roush, they have Saleen, who still is making somewhat of a car. You know, there's all these versions of these cars that come out, and like people want to buy different versions of the thing that they like. So like our thought process was like, Dave and I were kind of throwing it around, like, why are they so hung up on like just STI, right? Why isn't there a Roush version? Like, you know, like not like what I was gonna say is like they have VSC, which they are relying heavily on right now. Why don't they just give VSC the reins? They already have all the secrets that Subaru owns. Why don't they just say, hey, why don't you make us a production vehicle or a production version of the WRX that you guys think people would like, and then the STI version, and then they'll release both. And maybe
they don't have VSC. They just write blank checks to VSC for cars that they can use for content marketing. If they gave VSC the reins to build a production level car, no one would be able to afford it.
You know what's funny though? I talked to one of the dudes that works at VSC last year at SubiFest Midwest, and he was very like not concerned, but straight up like he told me, he's like, yeah, if Subaru, like you're right, Taylor. He's like, if Subaru ever didn't cut a check, I'm not sure what we would do.
Yeah, like Subaru just gives them a blank check for literally marketing only. But the thing that doesn't make sense is, why is Subaru paying VSC for marketing when nothing that VSC does is directly tied to Subaru production cars? It actually, in my opinion, it does not help Subaru's sales numbers with their vehicles. Like Subaru, like they are not even interconnected at all. Like even if the like I said, even
What?
Hold on,
I would have to say that the issue is Subaru USA and Subaru Motorsports USA are not the same company.
Subaru Japan is also a different company. Subaru Japan is the one who makes all the calls.
Yep.
Yeah. But
I would argue that Vermont Sports Car used to have a great deal of influence on people buying Subarus. Like when Gymkhana came out with Ken Block, like what was that?
That's what, but you got to remember, that's when the cars were still relatable to the production cars.
Let me finish my point before you make.
I'm gonna call you later and yell at you.
Ali, that was a great point. I wish I had thought of it, but
yeah, I beat you to it, Mark.
God, I'm slow, I guess. Jeez. Yeah, when the cars were relatable, when they were the hatch, when they were all that stuff, kids wanted them. I wanted them. But I'll be completely honest, this most recent one with the Brat, yeah, the Brat's cool or whatever, but you guys are just refreshing the Air Slayer and the Dirt Slayer and the other Slayer and all these other cars, and you just put it in a Brat chassis. It looks cool. That's awesome. It's been the same car for how many years now? 5, 6 years? Has nothing to do with selling a VBWX. Nothing. So unless they come out with one next year and it's the Performance B hatch.
The thing that's actually cool in the Subaru space is actually not what even VSC is doing. Subaru with their GT BRZ with the EG33 setup in it, that is phenomenal.
That was cool.
That is actually phenomenal of Subaru to do, and in my opinion, way cooler than anything that VSC has done. And that's not a dig at VSC, but that's actually relatable. Like anybody can still do that.
Well, dude, take VSC out of it. Why are they not reviving things like Tommy Kyra?
Tommy Kyra was never directly tied with Subaru. It's a subsidiary, like, individual brand.
But that's what I'm saying is Shelby America is not directly tied to Ford, right? Like they are and they're not. Like Roush is not directly tied to Ford. They're in Detroit next door to them. They use the same wind tunnel. They're still kind of connected, but they're not. You know, like Subaru.
That's also like saying, like, why doesn't ESX do more STIs like they used to?
Yeah, I think it's like what there's a door that hasn't been opened, and like Subaru was like packing boxes against the door, and they're like, nobody's allowed in, and it's like, I don't know why they're doing that.
I'm just gonna say Subaru could write us a blank check any day and give us the reins to build something crazy.
You kind of have to wonder though, because like VSC did make production parts for a couple of years. If you guys remember, they made downpipes, engine mounts. What else did they make? They made
the wings and whatnot. But here's the thing, dude, they were insanely expensive.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Insanely. I know one person who bought some of their parts, and that's it. Out of every Subaru owner I've ever met, one person who's bought some of their parts. One person bought a wing, which I don't know why. Like, it's a cool wing, don't get me wrong, but it's not a $6,500 wing that I'm willing to pay for.
Is it the guy with the GR?
No, it's a VA WRX STI wing, and it's a legit rally style wing, and it looks great.
Yeah.
It's incredibly overpriced in my opinion, though.
Like, do you guys Do you guys remember the 22B?
Yeah.
They
Who doesn't remember a
recently
22B? Come on.
No, I'm saying they did that
What's the 22B?
they did that refresh run where they did a limited amount of, like,
The
updated
Pro Drive
22Bs. Yeah, like
That's Pro Drive, though. That wasn't
that's Pro
Subaru.
Drive.
but that's what's weird is, like, Pro Drive obviously is still trying to do
Mhm.
production type stuff, like, why don't they enlist Pro Drive to try to make a new model, like
Correct you and say I don't think Pro Drive has ever tried to do production type stuff. I think that's a misrepresentation. I think Pro Drive is trying to do Pro Drive. Like
What do they make,
Pro
like
Drive
25 of those
is
things?
we are our own entity. We do what
Yeah.
the F we want. Like we don't care. We don't care about oversight. We don't care about regulation. Like we're just gonna build something cool. And for the bespoke people that can afford to buy it, they're gonna get something that is it's a bad analogy, but maybe RWB was the first thing that came to mind, but kind of in that category of like, yeah, it's bespoke in a sense.
Mhm.
I mean,
And
it's
there's a
kind of
whole
more like
other
a GT2 race car Porsche,
Mhm.
you know, like I feel like
Yeah.
RWBs feel like
Yeah,
a single
yeah,
thing
yep.
jacked apart. But like
Thank you,
I
Mark.
feel like
Yeah.
P25s were like borderline race car,
Yeah.
if not race car.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
They were
what
sequential
are they?
and
They're like
air
automatic
water and
sequential and all that crazy stuff
yeah.
in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pro Drive is Pro Drive.
And they're
Like I said,
what, half
they're
$1 million?
badasses.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
also unobtainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, for the bespoke few that can afford that. If you have billions, we're not talking millions anymore. We're talking with a B. Like
Yeah.
billion, not just 1 billion. You don't just have $1 billion, you have multiple billions of dollars. And it's like, you know what? I want to buy a Pro Drive. Cool. Pro Drive's like, hell yeah, we sold 12.
That's still
Like,
6
you know what I
million.
mean? Like,
$6
Yeah.
million bucks, dude. Yeah.
yeah. But that I think, and this is maybe a misrepresentation, but I think it's a lot similar to Koenigsegg. I think that people don't appreciate what Koenigsegg is, but the few people that buy in and want to buy something that is one of 12.
I don't know if that analogy works for Koenigsegg versus like a P25. I think most people
Koenigsegg's
assume
like my
Koenigsegg
favorite
is like top tier.
hypercar brand.
Yeah.
Christian von
But
Koenigsegg is
I think
something else.
I guess from a monetary standpoint, I feel like it still falls into the same category because you're still selling to a less than 1%, man.
I think
Hey,
you said it right
500
earlier.
grand
You're
buys, like,
selling a
one
bespoke
Koenigsegg
car to people who can afford it.
Because there are people that could buy a Koenigsegg that would rather buy a Ferrari. A lot more people, and I guess that's my argument. Is
I don't even know we're arguing anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that just went.
So okay, reeling back to the point.
Billions.
One of the examples that I wanted to bring up that I think is kind of a nice example is, dude, like Mustang did the Bullet Mustang, which was like a limited run that happened, and
Yeah, the throwback to the
they were awesome. They had I'm gonna put up some pictures here. So this is the old style versus
I can
the
see it this time.
so they did
We got to start the whole chat over.
they did the 50th anniversary, and then, they tried to keep the wheels kind of looking a little bit close, and like they wanted it to kind of reflect the Bullet style Mustang, which was cool. And then what they ended up doing was like the interior, they totally changed everything around. So they had the cluster. You could actually change it to look like the old style cluster, which is really cool. They had the Bullet steering wheel. They had the cue ball shifter, and then all of the switches on the underneath the screen, they were all like flip switches like the older cars. They had the older style gauges. Like, dude, it was like a retro build, which was like so cool that they did something like this. And so what this made me think was like, why is Subaru not trying to use STI as like, STI has been around forever. Like, why is this not like, hey, let's make STI our like retro, like anniversary edition, like use the pink badges, bring back the blue seats, like make an anniversary edition WRX, like STI kind of thing. And then you have another brand that's doing all of your futuristic VSC, you have Pro Drive, you have whatever you want to use as your futuristic, push, but like it's a trim, right? Like at the end of the day, it can be one production model that they're making two versions of, and then people pick which one they like, and it adds a little bit of that to the community, I think.
This may not be the exact reason why, but probably a big factor is Subaru is significantly smaller of a company than most of the major auto manufacturers. So if it doesn't make sense for them to make money on it, they're probably not going to do it.
I was gonna say, they are, but they're doing it wrong and really like gaudy and poorly.
Are you talking about with the TS and the ugly blue interior?
They keep trying to throw back in our training. They mentioned that was a throwback interior to all this stuff, and then it showed up, and we looked at it and we went, "Oh God." And then we sat there and we were like, why are these parts of the seats blue? You should have switched it up.
I mean, the part is like
man.
Subaru used to do exactly that, just not in the US. They had S202, the S cars. There was like the RAR STI.
Well, Japan gets all the good stuff. Forester STIs, probably Outback STIs, Legacy STIs. They get everything. In the States, we get WRX STI. Oh, here's one S car. That's it.
I think the best car Subaru ever made is the Forester Ultimate Custom Kit Special.
The Fucks?
That was cool. Yeah.
The Subaru Fucks?
That reminds me, though, years ago, one of my automotive technical teachers that I went to school with, he taught everybody a lot of things. The best lesson I learned was he went to Germany, and sure enough, what all the youth were driving wasn't 3 Series BMWs or 5 Series. They were all driving Buicks and Mercurys and all these imported American cars. And I thought that was really interesting because it really gave me contrast into, we all kind of want what we don't have in a weird way.
True.
And I think back to Tanner's point, Subaru's giving people what, they want. But at the same time, sorry, maybe that was your point, Matt, but I see Subaru is trying to navigate that space of, well, we want to give people a full-blown rally car, but honestly, would that sell? I think that's a whole nother discussion with the landscape right now with automotive. And you ask the younger demographic what they care about with cars, and the majority of them are just saying, hey, we just care about getting from point A to point B. I don't care about cars. Cars are a nuisance. They're loud, they're polluting, and they have oil changes and maintenance, and I don't want to deal with this. I'll get an electric car, or I'll take Ubers everywhere. I saw a really great video today that really highlighted pretty much where the landscape is from automotive enthusiasm. And I think it's interesting to think that, yeah, we've lost a lot of things because things are shifting, but at the same time, we're streamlining. We're getting rid of some of the riffraff. I mean, I think it's safe to say everyone here can agree we don't need a takeover lifestyle. That doesn't represent
Dave,
culture.
I wanted to mention that you're saying that Subaru is hearing what the people want and they're making it, but they're really not. I feel like
they're not.
They're not making.
They can't.
But they can. They can. They have everything to do it.
But Dave,
I think that would be, honestly, they're questioning if that would be career suicide.
But something that you and I talked about, Dave, is that the WRX is a lost leader. That is their, listen, we have to make this because this is what we are. This is how we got, famous. This is how people know us. If they got rid of the WRX, what? They're going to just sell Foresters?
If they got rid of the WRX,
the issue is Subaru America doesn't care about any of that.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about the WRX.
I agree.
This is my hot take for the night. If Subaru got rid of the WRX, we would care. The enthusiast community to Subaru is very small. From a business perspective, honestly, they'd probably be stoked. They don't have to manufacture it. They don't have to deal with turbos anymore. Obviously, it's sent, but
false warranty claims is another one. Because I remember when Matt worked in service, he would tell me about that all the time with people trying to flag warranty claims for stuff that they shouldn't be.
Dude, kid at my shop has had 3 engines and 4 transes put in, and like every time he had to pull 1,900 things off of his car to bring it in for the warranty. And he's arguing with the guy at the desk. You know, it's like it's stuff like that. You know, it's like, but I think that like part of it though is like, is that really what Subaru wants? They really just want to sell.
Okay, the issue, and I pulled this up right here. So we're also seeing a huge decline in WRX sales. So the problem is, since nobody's buying this car, Subaru America is taking it. I mean, they're companies, so they only look at it from a business standpoint. So they're going to look at the numbers and be like, wow, people really don't care about this car. They don't realize it's overpriced. They don't realize it doesn't have what the people want. They don't realize any of that because they don't really listen. So, I mean, 2022, they sold 48,000 units. 23, they sold 24,600. 24, they sold 18,500. And 25, they sold 14,000. So they're hard dropping on these cars being sold, and it doesn't help anything. Like I said, when I was selling the cars, dude, we all at my dealership freaked out the moment 2025 models came around, and they were $10,000 more than 24 models. And we're like, people already weren't buying this shit. Like, what are we gonna do now?
I remember when I go down to the dealership to pick up parts, I'd see literally like 9 of them in a row, and they were there for a while.
Yeah. And most of them went to dealer trades.
And here's a point. It's not like a Honda Civic. The reason why the Honda Civic became so popular was they were cheap, they were affordable, everyone bought them. And by the time you bought one secondhand, third hand, they were really affordable. And so the aftermarket community stepped up, and all of a sudden people were able to buy these cars, modify them really cheaply, and make some horsepower and have a lot of fun. That was the recipe, okay, for the Honda Civic. You try to compare that to the STI, it's a premium, it's always been a kind of a luxury option. How do you sell that in the landscape when you can just go buy a Dodge Hellcat Demon for the same price and make 5 times the horsepower and go to every street takeover and be the man? Which, not saying we condone that, but just that's what Subaru's trying to compete with. And like you said, Matt, the numbers are down, and they're going, I don't think we can compete with this, because the most people that buy STIs and are STI enthusiasts are buying a 2007. Sorry, that's my favorite year. And they're modifying the hell out of it. And guess what? They spent $20,000, $30,000 with all these other companies that didn't net us any profit, like IAG and all these other companies.
The thing that I see with a lot of this, especially being on the YouTube side, I interact with a lot of people, so I see a lot of Subaru enthusiasts come and go. And for the amount of money it costs to, at this point, buy and either rebuild or maintain or restore an older Subaru, buy a newer one, and then put money into it to modify it to be able to keep up with other modern cars, people are going out there buying M3s, RS3s, Golf Rs. They're buying everything else that's within the price category that otherwise I don't want to say they compete with Subaru because they're still above the price range, but for enthusiasts, when they go to modify the cars, they begin to get into this territory of other cars. And then it becomes, the Golf R or the RS3 or the M3 has all of these other, not even just like performance features, but just natural amenities. And Matt, you and I have talked about this before. Mark, I think you and I have too, about how Subaru's technology is always at least like 5 years behind its competition, and not just direct competition, but everybody on the auto market. So when they go into these other cars, they see that they have all these other features. They're like, why am I spending so much money to either stay in one of these cars, keep one of these cars, modify one of these cars, when I could go to this and I have it all standard?
Yeah, I want to go get an Audi and I can have a
kind of biased on that. So no comment.
Why are you biased on it? Come on,
I'm a little biased
opinion,
on it.
man. We're all about opinions right now.
I don't think they're lacking that much aside from the extra frilly.
Like what?
I don't know.
There's a lot of frilly.
You know what?
Dude, the head units.
I mean, what's like a feature that is a must-have that Subaru's... Now, the issue is they do like paywall it behind higher trims, but they have
most manufacturers do that.
But I think when you come into automotive enthusiasm, Matt, I guess my argument nowadays is it's all about money per horsepower, and
that's the only aspect
we're in a new
really
landscape now where the price per horsepower has never been cheaper. It's never been cheaper right now.
I don't agree, Dave.
I think it's the
don't
opposite.
Agree.
I actually think that, like, with Subaru, it wasn't about how cheap they were. It wasn't about that people could get in cheap or whatever. I think it was about the utility. At the time, like, what cars could do what a WRX could do at that price range. Like,
Yeah.
I think that, like, dude, I watched the whole Speed 333 whatever YouTube channel episode where he was like talking about how in Europe like, they just like no cops could catch them and they were ripping through side streets and nobody could get and like people liked these cars because of just you see Colin McRae go do a jump and guess what, you could do it too and it's not gonna cost you
there
anything.
used to be a lot of cars like that. You had the Evo, the Celica GT4, the Volkswagens and all their rally stuff, the Audi rally. I mean, back like 15 20 years ago you had a ton of cars that were all on the same plateau of it.
Yeah.
So I gotta jump back to a previous point though, because you guys are talking about like competition for Subaru and how there is no competition. I don't really agree with that because if you look at the history, like there was the Evo 8, the Evo 9, the Evo 10. There were all these other cars that existed within the timeline of WRX, right? The STI had 300 horsepower till it died. The only one that ever had more than 305 was the S209. So even though there was competition with Mitsubishi and all these others, the SRT4s were in there. Subaru didn't do anything about it. They left.
No, I mean they didn't change anything. They didn't change anything.
They stuck to their guns.
They literally were if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah, all they did was change the chassis
years,
with
dude.
updates.
Like,
so which is interesting because I think that we've reached a point now where like if you're gonna spend all this money to get a WRX and you hit the gas pedal and the Golf R next to you is just taking off and you're sitting there, it's a feel bad. Like, why would you buy this car? You know, they're heavy. They just don't have the things that they used to have. Like these cars were.
You'll beat them in the corners,
dude.
But
I don't know about that compared to a Golf R.
Dave, what did we experience on our way to Michigan? All of the cold air coming in through my door handles. That was something that happened. You know, like, dude, like this is a 2019 WRX.
Build quality.
And
the build quality is not German.
The window switches have cold air coming through them. I'm like, who designed this? Like,
that's a feature, not a problem.
Yeah,
air conditioning,
dude. I'm like, you know,
they got AC window buttons, man. I mean,
I do think that
some people would pay extra for that.
Yeah. I do think
you know what that means. So hey, I'll say it, the mechanic in me will say someone did a window regulator in your car and they just ripped what we call the weather seal, the weather seal behind it, and you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, they just like cut a hole in it. It's like put a regular. It's like, dude, come on, man. That's called actually the correct term is a vapor barrier. That's it. It's a vapor barrier, and if you have a bad vapor barrier, you'll get a lot more condensation in your car. Big surprise.
You know what is kind of odd with Subaru? Especially with I hate calling it a new WRX because it's not the new WRX anymore. It's a VB WRX. There has been no mid-cycle refresh on this car.
Yeah.
Which historically Subaru does this every 2 to 3 years, mid-cycle refresh.
But Tanner, there has. The badge is now red.
That's not a refresh. And you get an ugly blue interior and you can buy the car in 9 more colors. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Now, Tanner, here's a point that we made on our last episode was I asked you, is the Subaru community its own worst enemy? And you said nobody hates on Subaru people as hard as Subaru people do.
It's true.
And so this is my take, is that the WRX is dying because they got rid of the STI, and now there's no STI people to on WRX people for having STI
now they're
wings.
stealing wings off of VA STIs to put on their WRXs.
Why else would you buy an STI than to just on everybody who can't afford one?
See, here's the,
this is transmission.
This is one question that people always ask me. Dude, one question that people always ask, and it's not meant to sound rude, is you'll probably never hear an STI owner say I should have bought the WRX.
Sure. That is true.
Yeah.
I've never heard it. I've heard WRX owners say I should have bought the STI, but never the other way around. And that's not saying that there's anything wrong with the WRX. There's not, but